webcast will, thank you. The webcast will be posted on the ACRL website for future reference. It'll also be posted to YouTube and the CoPA Connect space, and we're going to try to do that later today. And we're hoping a lot of information to present, but we're hoping that we have some time for questions at the end. So thank you and welcome everyone. So I guess the next slide, Lauren. Let's see. Is that the one that has my picture on it?
Yes, I'm trying to click it. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Hold on
Right.
1 second. The transcript is over the button, so Zoom is being a little
Michigan
weird.
State, UNLV. Wow, people coming from everywhere. Oh, there we are. So I don't want to dwell on this picture very long. So I just want to, I go by Jay. My first name is Robert, and I use that intentionally because ALA's email system is set up with the first initial last name at ala.org. So if you know someone's first name and last name, then you can pretty much have their email address. But also I like to use Robert because I was named after my uncle Bob, Robert Cinnamon Tucker, who was the head librarian at Furman University for over 40 years and was an 82-year member of the American Library Association. So I come by that name honestly, or at least I hope I do. Next slide. Okay, so I'd like to start off talking about ACRL's strategic plan, which is also known as the Plan for Excellence. And as the higher education association for librarians, we lead academic and research libraries and librarians and library workers to advance learning and transform scholarship by focusing on this Plan for Excellence. And you'll see that ACRL has 5 strategic areas. We have the value of academic libraries. We have student learning and information literacy. We have research and the scholarly environment, new roles in changing landscapes, and finally, equity, diversity, and inclusion, which is the newest part of our goal area committees and our strategic plan. And we do this work in these 5 strategic areas by having specific objectives and by carefully measuring and monitoring our progress. And this plan requires close coordination between our programs and services, such as budgeting and financing, professional development, publications, membership, and other operational support. And this work is done in tandem with the committees and communities of practice. And by using this structure, the association ACRL can always be responsive to the needs of academic and research librarians and library workers. And we're eager to have your ideas and leadership in developing webinars, discussion forums, publications, and other resources that meet the needs of the community. And when you have an opportunity, ask members what we can do for them. And later on in this presentation, you will learn how you can interact with the ACRL Board of Directors. So you are part of ACRL's leadership team, and I just want to pause here and thank you so much for the time and for the energy and for the wisdom that you are devoting to this. It's ACRL would not be possible without you doing what you do, and I'm grateful for that all of you have chosen to attend this orientation. And while membership group work is underway throughout the year, the entire leadership team typically meets twice a year at the ACRL Leadership Council that's held in January at LibLearnX. There'll be more information about that. I just got some information this morning about LibLearnX, and June at the ALA Annual Conference. And the June conference next year will be in Chicago. And so the meetings are usually virtual or in person. I'm guessing LibLearnX will be virtual, but it just depends on the circumstances. We want you to be engaged in a productive, healthy, and enjoyable way, and we need you to be the kind of leader who makes all the member volunteers you'll work with feel the same way. And I know that we'll make a great team, and we know that each of you will contribute to ACRL's success. Okay. So Lauren, I don't have that slide. I wonder if I'm looking at the right presentation here.
We could come back to this one if you'd like me to go
Well,
ahead.
let's see. Let's make sure I'm on the right train. What's the next one look like?
ALA is one legal entity.
Oh, okay. That I have that one. Okay.
Okay, we can come back to this one then.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay. So the structure of ALA is codified in the operating agreement, which I'll go over in more detail later, I don't know if it's unique among American associations, but it's certainly unusual. ALA is one association, one legal entity with indivisible assets and a single set of uniform administrative, financial, and personnel policies and procedures. It's also the home for divisions such as ACRL, which have their own strategic plans, separate boards of directors, and who are elected by the division members, their own executive directors and staff, and responsibility for generating revenue to support division staff and to carry out their programs. In addition to divisions, and there are 8 divisions at ALA, ALA has a number of offices, and these are units that address broad interests and issues of concern to ALA members. Offices do not have members, but are advised by members' advisory committees. The roundtables are membership units established to promote a field of librarianship, not within the scope of any single division. And in support of its mission, the ALA, American Library Association, maintains collaborative relationships with a variety of outside organizations, affiliates, and chapters, and there are quite a few of those. So ALA is one legal entity, as I said earlier, of which ACRL is a part. And so just for IRS designation, ALA is a 501c3, which is a pretty popular nonprofit designation. It's just part of the tax code. And that means that we are a charitable educational nonprofit for the public benefit and not a professional association. And so what does this mean for you and your ACRL role? Well, this status puts limits on the amount of lobbying and political activity, which means no political speech, no discussion supporting or opposing candidates, and that part is important, no organizing boycotts, no defamatory remarks about others. And these aren't really free speech issues, these are tax issues, and we don't want to be the ones that cost ALA its tax exempt status. That's one of the primary motivations of anyone running a nonprofit, is you protect that tax exempt status. But if you're in doubt, feel free to contact me. But like all nonprofits, ALA can engage in a limited amount of lobbying. However, ALA does advocate for library issues like funding, and you can expect to hear from ALA's Public Policy and Advocacy Office and ACRL as we encourage you to contact federal and state representatives regarding various issues affecting libraries. And I can tell you that I, for the past 20 years, have gone to Capitol Hill every year to advocate for the Library of Congress and support funding for that. So that's something that we're happy to do. Okay, next slide. So the operating working agreement, that's we had a work group that was charged to evaluate, assess, and make recommendations to the ALA operating agreement, and that's what defines the relationship between ALA and divisions. And specifically, the working group was charged to examine how the existing operating agreement is fulfilling the mission and values of the association, as well as the financial structure that supports the joint and individual goals of the association and divisions. In addition, the working group examined the relationship between ALA and the roundtables and provided recommendations that guide that relationship as well. And the operating agreement values unity, diversity, authority, autonomy, and collaboration. And these values will guide or have guided the working group in its assessment and communication. So in June of 2022, just last month, working group put forth the following recommendations to the ALA Executive Board. 1, the Executive Board accepts the working group's final report and presents the rewritten policy and outline for changing internal processes and procedures to the ALA Committee on Organization, or otherwise known as COO, for their review, continued association-wide feedback, and forward to the Executive Board and Council for final review and vote. So it's very process-driven. So 2, if the new policy is approved, They authorize an implementation task force to develop a new budget process that consists of ALA management, including the division executive directors, and ALA division budget leaders to outline a new budget process. And this process should be developed during the FY 23-24 fiscal year with a report to the executive board, division boards, and council. The goal will be to implement a new process, a new budgeting process for FY 25. And 3, the executive board encourages the ALA executive director, that's Tracy Hall, to form an internal working group to revise the operational practices that update and include accountability and service expectations for shared services. And if that wasn't enough that was going on, we also had at the same time the Transforming ALA Governance Task Force, also known as TAG, which was appointed by the executive board in July of 2021 with a charge to, 1, indicate and operationalize the culture changing principle of this Avenue M report, which was a report that gave feedback on ALA operations, to give feedback on the Steering Committee on Organizational Effectiveness, also called SCOE, and then the Forward Together work, which had been done for a new governance landscape. And the hope was to establish a regular governance review process and assess the large projects that need to be addressed and create a plan to address them. So in June, last month, TAG recommended to the ALA Executive Board, 1, to endorse making the new ALA Executive Board the ALA's governing body, which includes 2 representatives from divisions, and 2, endorse the establishment of an advisory council, which would debate, deliberate, and make recommendations to the executive board on topics relevant and important to the membership of the American Library Association. And this would include 1 ACRL counselor in the advisory council. Now, the ACRL board and budget and finance committees are monitoring these proposed changes and will advise membership of any implications for ACRL. So you can see there's lots of governance changes that are coming through. Okay, thank you. Awards. So ACRL is rightfully proud of its awards program, which includes Achievement and Distinguished Service Awards, Publication Awards, Research Awards, and grants and scholarships. But the program has reached a point a couple of years ago where it was seen as, these were seen as just unsustainable. And so a task force spent a year examining the awards program and came up with 13 recommendations, including strategies for making all of the awards sustainable and a focus on making the awards more equitable, diverse, and inclusive, among many other recommendations. And the board is in the process of appointing a new task force to see how we can implement these recommendations and how we can make the awards more equitable, diverse, and inclusive, and that work will begin soon. So external communication. As an ACRL leader, you may be asked to comment, send a letter of support, or would like your ACRL membership unit to publicly take a stand on an issue. So please remember that only the ACRL board may speak for ACRL. And this also applies to sending letters or taking a position with other organizations. Only the ACRL board may do so. And again, this goes back to issues of tax concerns and who is speaking for ACRL. The board does respond promptly to requests from units to take action. So if an issue arises, please reach out directly to your staff and board liaisons. Both are ready to stand with you. And on a somewhat related note, if you are contacted by a reporter regarding an issue, please get in touch with David Free, who's ACRL's Senior Communications Strategist. And he'll coordinate interviews with ALA's Communications and Marketing Office, also called CMO. CMO likes to know when the press is contacting the different divisions. And as appropriate, we could get in touch with the ACRL president, president-elect, or past president. So here are a few pertinent policies. Online survey software such as SurveyMonkey makes it easy to do surveys yourself, but please do not survey beyond your own group without first checking with the ACRL office. If you are sending a survey to your group, we encourage you to notify your staff liaison for a quick review. We have lots of people with great survey expertise. And just a reminder, if you are doing a survey under the auspices of ACRL, you do not need to go through the Institutional Review Board review process. But we review it in order to avoid survey fatigue, to avoid duplicate efforts, to ensure the highest quality of the survey. And then once your survey is approved, you can work with staff to determine the best way to field that survey. And just as a reminder, ACRL and ALA have the right of first refusal on the work you do within your membership group. ACRL is a publisher and online learning provider, and we know that you have creative ideas, great ideas, and ACRL would like to be the first to consider how to publish your unit's work or offer a webinar on the topic. And when you volunteer for ACRL, you are serving on behalf of the profession, the whole profession. So please check with ACRL content strategist Erin Nevius to propose a topic. She's terrific at helping people revise these things and to focus them. And just as a reminder, all the working papers and final products of the group are the sole property of ACRL and aren't to be used in any personal projects unless you get written permission as obtained from the appropriate governing body. So the board activities. So the board meets 4 times per year, and all the meetings, except for when the board goes into executive session, are open to all members. And we encourage you to come and see what's going on. The spring and fall meetings are typically virtual. This year, the board also met virtually for Live Learn X and held a combination of virtual and in-person meetings for the annual conference. Members by attending can stay up to date on board activities through the ACRL Board Public ALA Connect community, and that can give you all the board documents. And this is where you can find upcoming meeting information, board agendas, documents, and minutes, and all the neat information. And here is a list of the board of directors. You can see at the top, Aaron Ellis, who became president on July 1st. Every section is assigned a board liaison who serves as a point of contact for questions and advice based on the board members' knowledge of ACRL's mission, policies and procedures, and strategic goals. And your FY23 board liaison should appear on your executive committee roster. But I'm grateful for the effort that all these folks put into the board work, because it is considerable. Okay, working with the board. So there are times you'll need to work with the ACRL board, and so here are a few examples. The board approves standards and guidelines developed by the sections and interest groups. The board approves section name changes. The board approves all funding requests over and above the basic services budget allotment. The board approves the creation, renewal, dissolution of section, interest, and discussion groups. And the board approves all position statements, endorsements, and so forth requested by the sections. And if you would like the board to take an official action, then we have these board of director action forms that are readily available that very carefully outline the process. But you can work with your ACRL staff liaison and board liaisons regarding the proposed board action. And they can offer guidance and advise on how to complete the form. Deadlines for reports actions will be announced via the ALA Connect email list for the CoPA units. Board also works virtually, so your items do not have to wait until meetings for action. And before you can communicate to your team, you need to know who is on it. So now I'd like to turn our presentation over to Lauren Carlton, who knows where everyone is, and she's your staff liaison for more details on meetings, budgets, appointments, and more. Lauren?
Thank you so much, Jay. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm Lauren Carlton. I'm a program officer here at ACRL, and I am the staff liaison to discussion groups, interest groups, and sections. I do see a few familiar faces here, so hello to everybody, and I do see some new faces, so that's exciting. First, I'm going to talk about a few resources that you have, as well as some other key things to know coming up this year. So ACRL's Directory of Leadership provides contact information for members of your membership group. Specific contact information is only visible to ACRL members to protect your privacy. So by logging into the website is how you can view your full roster. If you're not logged in, you'll just see names and term dates. You must be logged in to see the contact information. Rosters are linked to the contact information in ALA's membership database. So please encourage your group members to keep their ALA record up to date so that if someone's trying to contact them, that is accurate. While the membership year began on July 1st, now would be a great time, if you haven't already, to review your rosters and reach out to your colleagues to introduce yourselves. Next, I'm going to talk about ALA Connect. This is a place where your committee work, discussion group work, interest group work can take place. It's a great place to store documents such as agendas, agendas for meetings, minutes, or reports for future committee members to take note of. Note, it is customary for the ALA IT department to temporarily roll forward the end dates for committee terms in IMIS to give CoPA committee members a couple weeks to finish their work before they lose access to the workspace and Connect. So if your rosters look a little funky right now, like you see some old people that are still listed there, don't worry, that will automatically reset come August 1st of 2022. Starting in the spring of 2021, all section, interest groups, and discussion groups have discussion lists that are currently hosted through ALA Connect. In order to post to the list, you will need to be a member of that group's ALA Connect community and to address the discussion list email messages, which can be found at the top of each group's roster. So before you can send an email to that address, make sure you've clicked that blue join button and joined the space. Joining a Connect community is free for both ALA members and non-members. If a person joins an ACRL section and interest group when they renew their dues, when they join a section and they renew their ALA dues, they automatically get subscribed to that group's Connect space. To join the discussion group or interest group space, again, they just need an account and to make sure they've clicked that join button. Again, check your unit's official roster on the ACRL website for complete details on how to use the unit's Connect space and email address. One last update regarding Connect. Some of you may have seen the announcement that was posted to the CoPA Connect space. ALA has updated their ALA Connect Code of Conduct to prohibit the postings of job ads on groups and with ALA Connect spaces. There will be a new community launching next month, which is free for members to join, where you can go to post ads or join to keep up on other job updates. So that community will be available August 1st, and we'll send an announcement about it. So you can join there to find the job postings. As leaders of your group, one of your duties is to keep an eye on your Connect spaces. So if you see any post that violates the code of conduct, please send me an email with a link to the post and I will remove it for you. You'll be glad to know that ACRL staff will give you an abundant notice of all the upcoming dates and deadlines via the Community of Practice Connect Space community. We've added all the new incoming section leaders and interest group leaders to the space. If you are coming in as a new section vice chair or incoming interest group convener, you will be able to access the ALA Connect community for your executive committee on July 1, since that's when access to the Connect communities start, because it's linked to your appointment terms. So you all should have access as of now, since we're about halfway through July. If you don't have access to the space, please feel free to send me an email. As you may know, ALA has an open meeting policy, and this applies to virtual meetings as well. If you plan to hold a virtual meeting, we ask that you give 10 days notice in ALA Connect and post the agenda and minutes to the space, as well as sending to me, the staff liaison. With respect to minutes, we suggest you prepare meeting highlights and summaries, focus on recording the key actions or decisions that were made, as well as your next steps. So to make it clear as to who is going to be doing what and by when. The outgoing chair will be responsible for completing the Plan for Excellence implementation reports, which will be due in July of each year. More on that a little bit later. And now I'm going to turn the presentation over to Mary Jane Petrowski for more information on membership reports and budgets.
Thank you, Lauren, and hi, everyone. I am Mary Jane Petrowski. I've been the ACRL Associate Director for the last 20 years and have spent a lot of that time working with sections. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about your budgets and about the model for the budgets, and also a little bit about how to plan a special event. So the first thing I want to talk about is your membership reports. So at the division level, we have the something we call the ACRL Section Membership Committee. And all of your membership committee chairs are de facto members of this group. And the reason you care about this group is because this is the conduit by which we provide your monthly membership reports. We upload these to the ALA Connect space for this group. And in normal times, there's about a 30-day lag between one report to the next. Right now, the reports are lagging about 4 months, and we're in the process of uploading your February 2022 reports. So if you need statistics regarding your membership, do reach out to your section membership committee chair, because that person has all the info in their ALA Connect space. We do encourage all members of this committee to share these reports with all of their respective section or all their section executive committees. So in addition to the reports, we also share spreadsheets with each section showing your new members, your renewing members, your reinstated members, and your drop members. And we encourage section membership committees kind of to reach out to the people on those lists and welcome them, thank them for renewing, and help them explore ways that they can become more involved with your section. And likewise, for interest groups, we get the same monthly reports. There's the same 4-month lag right now. But when those become available, we do upload those into the ALA Connect spaces for each interest group. So now let's talk about your funding and special events. The way this has been working pre-COVID was that we would, Lauren would send budget memos in early October saying, here's your budget for the year. But with the delays in accounting, it's looking more like we will get the budget memos out to you by possibly late November, maybe early December. Everything sort of hinges on when ALA publishes the August membership numbers, because that is the basis for calculating your budgets. I'll go into the model on the next slide, but I just want to remind everybody that, of course, the unused monies don't carry over to the next fiscal year. But typically in August, I will reach out to all of the section executive committees and let you know if you've got unused funds, and encourage you, if you would like, to donate those funds in the service of a named scholarship for your section for the upcoming 2023 ACRL conference in Pittsburgh. So for many years, most sections have been able to fund at least one named scholarship, and that amount is $740. We connect you with the scholarship recipient and so forth. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know, if you've got a balance, you can put that balance to a good use. And we do ask that section chairs approve any reimbursement request coming from a committee member before you send those requests on to us. So the current model for section basic services that I'm showing you here is really kind of based on FY21 ranges. And I expect FY22 ranges will be somewhat similar as soon as we get those reports. But the model assures that each section receives $1,000 kind of as a base. And then for each member over and above 400, the section receives an additional 75 cents. So if you're curious as to what that money could be spent on, in the past, sections have funded emerging leaders, and that cost $1,000 for sponsorship. Funds have been used to support liaison activities to other higher education associations, member engagement initiatives, and those might be social events, and also to carry out the work of the section. So again, these budget memos are probably going to come out in November or December this year. It just really depends on when we have the information we need from the ALA accounting office. Interest groups do receive $150 each year. And the link you see there on the slide is probably your #1 resource for all your funding questions. So it covers all the details we've just been over, as well as quite a bit of additional information. So now that ALA has returned to in-person conferences, you might be wondering how you might host a special member event at the next ALA conference next year, which will be in Chicago. So we encourage you to do kind of plan ahead, because in some cases you might need to solicit donations to, cover the cost of catering or space rental. So to help you plan and to help us plan, we do have a special request form, and we do encourage you to submit that at least 5 months before your event, so as to give you time to plan, to give staff time to review any fundraising plans you might have in connection with that event. So, this form is not a form that requires you to have every I dotted and T crossed, but it's kind of a high-level outline of what you're thinking about doing. Normally, when you arrange for a catered event, there's a contract involved with the venue, either for catering or space rental or whatever. And for liability reasons, the ACRL executive director is the person who needs to sign all contracts. So we don't want you to put yourself in the position of being liable. So again, this is another reason for kind of the long lead time, so we can get contracts reviewed, modified if necessary, and executed. So based on our most recent experience with the ALA conference in DC, we're going to suggest that kind of an easy approach to hosting a special event is to rent out space in a reception hall and have the food catered in. And this really cuts down the number of contracts needed, and it simplifies the process for you, your planners, the venue, and ACRL staff. So I see there's some questions popping up in chat, and I'll see if I can answer them after I turn this over to Lauren, who's going to talk a little bit about appointments.
All right, hello everyone. So now I'm going to give a few details regarding the section committee appointment process. Section vice chairs make their section committee appointments. That will begin the year that which will begin the year that they serve as section chair. So while you're vice chair, you're making committee appointments for the folks who will be on the committees when you become chair. Appointment terms follow the membership year, which runs from July 1st through June 30th annually. The official call for the 2022-2023 committee volunteers will go out in December. And the volunteer deadline will be February 15th of 2023. Please note that the volunteer form is only available to current members. So if folks are having trouble volunteering and you get questions about that, the first thing you should double check is if they have updated their membership or are in fact members of ACRL. All appointees must maintain their ACRL membership through the duration of their committee appointment. Interest group and discussion group appointments are not handled through the appointment system. Rather, the interest group and discussion group leadership is responsible for choosing the next incoming leader each spring. Interest group leadership positions are for a 3-year commitment, incoming convener, then past convener. Interest groups must submit a board action every 3 years stating the request for approval to continue or sunset their group, which I, as staff liaison, get in contact with you the year that is due. So you don't have to worry about keeping track of that every 3 years. Discussion groups just need one leadership position each year, the convener, and this person can serve multiple terms. So you're only required one leader. However, some groups have 2 conveners, which are serving as co-conveners, and that's completely fine. There are no membership rosters for discussion groups and interest groups because anyone is welcome to join the Connect space for each discussion group and interest group in order to participate in the discussion list functionality and receive meeting updates. ACRL offers several types of online learning as detailed here on this slide. Every year there is an open call for proposals for e-learning topics. So please contact ACRL Manager of Professional Development, Margot Conahan, if you have any ideas. We encourage your unit to submit a proposal for an e-learning webcast or course. Staff take care of the scheduling and logistics for these events. ACRL sections and interest groups and discussion groups are also welcome to develop content for their own online discussion forums, which are less formal sessions than e-learning. ACRL offers Zoom to host larger virtual forums. For online forums, you will be responsible for the logistics and content of the event, and ACRL staff will work with you to publicize it. All discussion forums are archived and available to our members on ACRL's website. To schedule an online discussion forum, just submit a request in the ACRL virtual meeting libcal. Each year, sections and interest groups have an opportunity to share their accomplishments by submitting a Plan for Excellence implementation report. Section chairs and interest group conveners are responsible for submitting their unit's report at the end of their term as chair. Discussion groups are not required to submit a report, but are welcome to do so. The ACRL board uses your reports to assess our collective progress on the ACRL Plan for Excellence and will be reading them in preparation for their strategic planning discussions. The deadline to submit the report comes in July each year after the annual conference in order to allow you to include any projects completed at the conference. So for those of you who are already part of the CoPA Connect space, you should have seen when I posted the invitation for this meeting, there was also information about the Plan for Excellence. So that is all available on the Connect space if you want to go back and reread the post for more information on how to submit. The deadline to submit this year was July 15th, but since some of you are here for the first time, maybe getting this information, we've offered an extension to August 1st. So if you'd still like to submit the report, you have time to do so until August 1st. So again, go back to the Connect space where you found the information about this event when you registered, and the Plan for Excellence information is there as well. ACRL is also pleased to offer LibGuides as a free service for our membership units, thanks to the generous support of SpringShare. LibGuides should not replace ALA Connect or the online roster pages, but they can be a great tool for publishing toolkits, FAQs, and bibliographies. Please contact me or staff liaison for access information. For the upcoming 2022-2023 cycle, ALA is holding its 2023 annual conference in Chicago, Illinois. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, ALA's midwinter meeting has been replaced by a new event called LibLearnX. Although there is no space for CoPA business meetings at LibLearnX, groups can still submit presentation proposals, which will be due later in the summer or early fall. ALA will be posting information on that soon. The next opportunity for groups to meet in person socially will be in Pittsburgh during the ACRL conference, where sections can sponsor a no host birds of a feather Dutch treat dinner. More info will be coming later about this opportunity. The next opportunity to convene for a face-to-face business meeting, if desired, will be in Chicago during the ALA annual conference. ALA staff will contact you in the fall regarding your meeting plans for June of 2023, including special events, which, as Mary Jane mentioned earlier, need to be scheduled 5 months in advance if fundraising is involved. And just again to note about the face-to-face meetings at ALA annual conference, those are optional. It is not required for you to meet face-to-face. It's not required for you to meet in person if you're a leader. It's always optional. ACRL groups are encouraged to hold virtual meetings throughout the year and must meet at least once per year, whether in person or virtually. You are welcome to use your own Zoom account or another meeting platform for committee and business meetings, and you may also request the use of ACRL's virtual meeting software if needed. We do ask that you try to schedule it on your own platform first, but if you need our space, again, the LibCal is always available to book. To comply with ALA open meeting policy, please make sure to post your agenda 2 weeks before the meeting on your ALA Connect space. And we also encourage you to post the meeting minutes within 2 weeks after your meeting. So to start to wrap up, I would just like to suggest some next steps, including make sure that your ALA Connect profile is up to date. So upload a picture of yourself, spend some time adjusting your notification settings for each committee space, etc. Reach out and introduce yourself to the committee and welcome new members. Reach out to the outgoing chair to familiarize yourself with the work of the group. The people who are in the outgoing chair positions usually have some great advice for you. Review the ACRL Plan for Excellence implementation report to help you and your unit identify projects for the coming year. And finally, we especially encourage all CoPA units to identify at least one project that helps advance ACRL's core commitment to EDI. And now I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that we can address any questions.
So thanks so much, Lauren and Mary Jane. That I realize that is a lot of information to give you all. One of the things that I will remark upon, and just as a reminder, I'm still pretty new in this position, just 10 months in. I am struck by how ACRL lives its strategic plan, lives its plan for excellence. A lot of groups, a lot of nonprofits will have strategic plans that they spend a lot of effort in developing, and then they just essentially sit on the shelf. But ACRL has integrated the strategic plan objectives, the value of academic libraries, equity, diversity, inclusion, into everyday activities, from top to bottom. And that really speaks well to the effort that went into developing this plan for excellence and how it's being realized every day. These ideas that were generated years ago or have been reified in these committees up and down ACRL. And I just think as a relative newcomer that's remarkable, and I'm grateful for the work that everyone puts into the strategic plan. So let's see, we have time for questions.
This is Lauren. I did see a question earlier from someone asking to reiterate the connect to job posting policy. Yes, no job posts are allowed in any ALA Connect community space as of August 1st. That is an update to the code of conduct, which on August 1st, everybody who logs into Connect will get a little pop-up with the updated code of conduct. So they will be aware of this change and you'll have to re-sign it. And ALA has decided to make one Connect community space, which will also be available August 1st, where job posting is allowed. So if you see individual ads in your ALA Connect space for your sections and interest groups and committees, you'll need to flag those and send them to me so that they can be removed, because that is a violation of the code of conduct. However, when we remove the post, I'll be sure to remind folks, you can join this free ad space if you would like to have updates on job postings. So this will just kind of keep your communities from getting junked up with a bunch of posts, and people can see what you're planning. And if they still want to see job postings, there is a free community for that. Also, as a reminder, we do have ALA job list, which is also free for anybody to go view job postings at any time. So that resource is there as well. You can view those at any time.
And Lauren, there are a couple of questions and a comment in the chat about it. Well, they're coming so fast that I have to scroll back up here. How can you flag jobs with attention to specific groups in the new system? And I think, Carmen, you mean how do we, if we have a job posting that comes in, how are we going to remove it? Is that the question?
Yeah, so it's going to be up to the leaders of the space. As section leaders and interest group leaders, you are all community admins of your space. So one of your duties as leaders is to keep an eye on your Connect spaces. So if you see those, you don't remove them yourselves. You just simply send me the link and say, hey, saw this job posting. And then we will remove that for you guys.
Hi, that wasn't exactly my question. What I was trying to ask is if, for example, a job is of most interest to somebody in arts, in the new system where it's assumingly just a list for everyone, is there going to be some sort of way to say this will be of most interest to arts people, is what I'm saying, if they're not posting directly to the arts page?
Great question. I think you can search in spaces via keywords, via the filter. I can check on that. That is an ALA Connect question the ALA team will have to look at, but I will bring that to their attention. So thanks for asking.
I think it would be nice if there was a way to add some sort of tag so that people could filter by that tag. Otherwise, I think that could be really messy for folks who are searching.
Yeah, for sure. You can always search in the search bar too, like on Connect, like job opportunity arts. And so as long as that person had like put that in the post, it would come up in the search. But I mean, the people posting these ads, it's up to them to kind of add that in their title or tag it in their post.
And I'm guessing this is going to be kind of rough from the beginning, but it is based on a survey of membership and just sort of email fatigue of getting all these job postings in these various platforms. And Bonnie points out that there'll probably be some pushback, and I expect that there will be. But the part of the idea is to respond to membership desires, that they not be inundated with so many of these postings, and that there can be a central place that they can find these. And I think tagging them, Carl, May, will be important so that people can sift through and not have to look at all the jobs in which they're not interested.
When I see Brian's question about the policy, is that going out to all ACRL members? Yes, the message that was posted to your CoPA space was also posted to the ACRL members Connect space. So everyone who is a member of ACRL should have received that message saying, hey, this change is coming on August 1st. And then again on August 1st, we'll post another message reminding people that that change is in effect. But like I said, too, as of August 1st, when you go to log in to Connect for the first time, as you log in, you'll get a pop-up that makes you re-sign the code of conduct highlighting these changes. So there'll be 2 spaces where people will see this change.
And we'll welcome, these are good suggestions. We'll welcome further suggestions about how we can make the best use of this new job posting list, this exclusive list.
I wanted to add too, in regards to the tagging and searching for things based specifically on your group, because I see Laura seconded that comment. On ALA job lists, you do have the option to filter by interest specifically. So the free space, maybe that won't have as advanced filters as ALA job list, but I would really start pointing folks to job list, which has always been there and always been free for members to search, because that does have very advanced filtering options.
That's a great point, Lauren. And job list is part of it is monitored by one of our ACRL team members, and it's probably the most comprehensive job listing for library workers that you'll come across, and it is very sophisticated in how you can search for jobs. I'm looking for, don't see anything else in the chat, and I'm looking for hands raised. Just as to reiterate, for those of you who didn't come in right at the beginning, we plan to have this recording available later today on the Connect Space or on the YouTube channel, so that if, like I said, there was a lot of information that we presented, so if there's you want to go back and review what was there, or could share it with colleagues who are unable to attend. So just want to let you know.
Jay, will the slides also be sent out? I noticed there were a lot of links in the slides. It might be helpful to
The
jump
slides will
those.
be uploaded as well to ALA Connect when I post the recording.
Yeah, good question, Laura.
Thanks.
Okay, well, if that's it, I'm going to stop the recording now.